Yeah. You know how we seek that higher knowledge. Only the ignorant can't relate. We just kill them with love instead of hate. That's what it's about.
We are Moors.
Shout out to the Grand Sheik, Cujo L, Iron Sheik.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green flags, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and the muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? The slave named Chris might have a Moor head. We are Moors.
20 Moors rockin', you could call them Moroccans. Great COS adepts, let's get it poppin'. Got a problem with my sheep, got a problem with me. I be on the front line rolling 23 deep. I be studying for hours, 7 days a week, working on my higher self, cause the devil don't sleep. Big ups to Cujo L, that's the Iron Sheik. 7's up, facing the east, praising Allah. Astrology, cosmology, that's the real law. I slow roast ya, master the flame like Zoe Roaster. The rise of the new Moors, old heads move over. That Kundalini energy rising up like a cobra. This is training day, mount up with real soldiers. Elevate beyond the hate and claim your lost estate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? I don't rock a hat, just a turban, no affairs. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and the muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? The slave named Chris might have a Moor head. Stop talking crazy. You can't be everything but Moors. That's like willing to stay minority and not mature. Therefore, RVBey taught the world don't respect y'all. However, since you wanna be it, you go down when they fall. They, the ones you call government, that's really a corpse. Black man means funeral director, should make sense of course. Music is the food, and the message the medicine. Mumble food is poison, I'm with the golden era veterans. Like Mob D, condolences QB, RIP Prodigy, who studied the history of the Moors and etymology. You missed the Corsica headband, disguised as a bandana. Moorish MC, the real Moroccan, not a French Montana. Kendrick Lamar, you Sarahite, trust me, Hebrew's a language. Lupe put Moors in his video, made the point vantage. Yassine Bey knows Sabir Bey, knows Moorish Master MC. Fruquan Bey and Daddy IU are on some Moorish degrees. Spraga and Bujuno, they even kill Peter cause of Macintosh. Still visit digable planets, hip-hop astronauts. Milky Way flow, rays of tassels, blind unbelievers. To higher than other senses, to still pick up the frequency. Pick your addiction, truth will still make itself known. To go platinum now, you gotta give up more plus your soul. Large professor built pyramids, I watch Drink Champ steady. Cause Nori said Drew Ali on a track, so call me petty. Also Martin Moore exec produced the War Report album. Aboriginal Super Cat taught me how to hang and scalp them. Operation Lockdown, video feathers like I said the Duke. Initiate invasions, activate outdoors every spook. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green flags, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and the muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? The slave named Chris might have a Moor head. We are Moors. We are Moors. Heard what I said? We are Moors. Heard what I said? Heard what I said? Heard what I said? are Moors.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love to all. Welcome to MHHS, that's North Heritage and History School, Eyes Wide Open, Principles of Nationality in Action. I am your host, RVBey. Anna Ill will not be with us. I want to get this notice out that she had a fire. And she's fine. Her family is fine. But it's wonderful to send her some love, and if you want to do that, send it to Anita Ill, care of 141 Western Street, number 1145, Hartford, Connecticut, 06114. And we want to make it clear that no one got harmed. As we think about that, and no papers got destroyed or lost or anything in that fashion. She's just relocating while things get, straightened out. So please have some patience on that, and send some love to Anna E. I know she's probably listening as she can, but we all love her, and you can again send some love, and that does not necessarily mean finances. Love is love, but if you should choose to do that, that's fine as well. So that's appreciated by her and her family. So today we do have with us Miss Raheem Alice. Are you there? Hold on a moment. I'm not free. You are now live. Are you there?
Peace and love. Yes, I am here.
Wonderful,
can you hear me?
Wonderful. Yes, can hear you well. And
all right.
Cujo, all right. And Cujo Adwa Il, you are live. Are you with us?
Peace, I'm with you. Islam. Islam to the pound.
I'm glad that you're with us. I'm glad that, Miz, that you're with us. A lot of things are going on. We just gotta hold on, and just let this the energy that's opposing to all positive energy and work that we're doing for, and as we always know, the lawless ones must reveal themselves so that you can know who they are and know what it is to be lawless, what it is to be in full life with law. So that's what's going on today, and I do have. This is Freestyle Tuesday, by the way. So that means we can discuss what we will, and what the listeners want to ask or bring to the table, and what, of course, we want to bring to the table. So I mentioned a little bit about current events, but I listened. I brought up a constitutional question based on what I saw today in current events. There's so much stuff going on, so much ridiculousness in every aspect, because the energy is the energy. So I had a question, and it's a constitutional question, because, we are to enforce the Constitution, part of national principles. That's also what civics is. And so the question was, why does number 45, that's the executive, the president of the U.S.A., specifically United States of America, all right? Why does he not, I said not, have the authority to terminate finances from sanctuaries for the so-called aliens that are coming into the borders? Now, the reason I even posed this question, and I'm not going to even give the answer because it's really a question that I would like for people to answer if they knew, because it's a constitutional question. Let me tell you why. The executive order was written, they had it on their little media television here, and it says that president is signing an executive order now, that all of the, really all the agencies within the state, through the states, I suppose, that they were going to pull back and close up any finances that had been allotted to sanctuaries for quote-unquote so-called aliens, right? That's what his desire in Bush was today when he wrote that. Now, I'm listening to that, and in my mind, I'm saying, so let's see what's going to go down on the federal on coming back on this one. And before I can get it out of, I said, if it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. You'll hear their response to that, right? And before I could get it out of my thought, there it was, right behind it, that it said that a judge, I can't remember the name of the judge, said that cannot do that. He has not the authority to do that. That it is unconstitutional for him to do that, and he just simply does not have the authority. And then mentioned something about that these finances were already allotted. Now listen, people, they're saying these finances were already allotted through the Congress for these sanctuaries, right? For quote unquote again, so-called aliens. So they came right back on the heel, like they're right on them. And I knew that is truly, constitutional. So they will let you know, and always have let you know what's constitutional. But because we really don't, I think many of us really, really, really do not get what enforcing the law of the land really means. We miss stuff. We dangle and dabble and stay in this place that is the wrong place to be in thought and in action. So we don't get that, we don't know. The other reason is that we don't know who is who and what is what. And they know that you don't know. They know like when it was said that my people suffer for lack of knowledge, that's real. When Prophet Noble Drew bought the same thing, he's like, look, you better study. I come to teach you to be yourself like that. Well, if you don't know who is who and what is what, then you think that these people are actually, have an authority that they don't have. And it doesn't matter that they, over the generations have made it so and propped it up and made all this propaganda to make your mind think that. Thing is that it works to that degree. Now, I want to say this. I had someone ask me a question, and this is a very good question, and I figured a lot of people may be thinking it. We're talking about, although there is no time, we're talking about cycles, cycles of time, but there's no real time. Why is it that, this has been going on for so long? We could talk about generations going back. We can even go back, what has been allotted as thousands of years. We can even go back to the times of Yahshua when he was here, which was what, 2,000 years ago. That's really a long time. If it is at all, 2,000 years ago. But whatever it was, it's like, why is the message still the same? Why is it not happening, quote unquote? The people's mind has to wake up. Wake up, you sleepy-headed Moors, right? That was the message given to us. And the people keep coming. They keep coming through the womb. But it's the same thing. So we could say, at our time frame that we've been doing work, 20 years, whatever like that. Wow, it seems like it's more prominent. More people are in this. It's definitely on the front burner. But you know what? It was on the front burner before. It was on the front burner before. It's not a matter of whether the truth and the information is correct. It's a matter of the people getting it. And there's no time frame really allotted for that. Now, we do know that those who are doing this work, carrying that truth, using that hammer, banging it in until, taking a hammer to bang the truth in until it is a part of everything. Well, they come here to do that. You find yourself, many of us, you, whomever, find yourself in that place to do just that because that's what you're supposed to do. And it is to increase the next generation in the family lineage. And because I know many people knew, but they didn't act on it because it takes us all to get this and to activate it. So it's the same with what I just said. When this message came out, and then right behind it on the hill came, no, you can't do that. That's unconstitutional. Well, people, we have to be the same way because it's the law of our land. And as I said on Sunday, we are the law. If you don't approach this as you are the law manifest in the flesh, then you cannot effectuate nothing else that's going down on these green pastures. You just cannot. So at this time, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about some other, I'll let y'all bring that to the table, but it's a lot going on, and I do want to make this comment. Watch when the sun falls, in literally falls in the fall, or what we call autumn, and then it's exalted again in the spring. It's exalted, but it's home in Leo, the summer, middle of summer. But when it falls, remember that during the winter months that we're coming upon, the question that we ask ourselves is, did we sustain enough, did we reap and sow enough to sustain us through the coming more barren times, where fruits and vegetables and things like that, for the most part, are not, coming out of the earth. So the question is, did we reap and sow enough to sustain you through that? And this is the time of year from the fall, and then, we're getting ready to go into the actual winter solstice. This is the time of year that question is asked. Now, that question is not just asked of, monetary things. It's asked of, you may find yourself becoming sick or something like that. You could catch a cold. Like I just got a little cold, but really not a cold. I know it's not. I ate something that creates, mucus in the body, but at any rate, you have to ask yourself that if you have sustained, for instance, enough of the sun, and sun, which provides vitamin D as an example, or enough of whatever, the offerings of the earth that is good for the body. Did you reap enough of that to sustain you through the coming? So some of you, through the coming winter. So some of us will feel some sickness, or maybe you had something that was ailing you last year, and you might pay attention now that it may be ailing you again. It's always the same time of year or whatever. But that's part of what it is. And so your weaknesses, both mental, psyche, and your physical, can, show itself right now. And that's kind of like what we see with a lot of the slanderous things that are going on, because that thing is like, really turned up a bit. And remember what I had said a month or so ago in Thessalonians 2, which is for me, I know that part of being able to stay strong and in all of this is knowing that victory is assured, knowing that the truth is, the victory, really, and knowing that the lowest out of this writing, ancient writing called Thessalonians 2 in what is in the bibliotext, but that's our people's ancient writing, that the lawlessness must reveal themselves. Hear this, they must reveal themselves in order to be moved out of the way. That's what you see happening now. So with that helps us to understand what they call the slander campaign that everybody knew was coming and all of that like that. Like, I don't know exactly why people say the slander campaign that everyone knew was coming, but I know that it has to be, that it's already a process has to occur. So that just simply means, like I said, the lawless ones must show who they are, so that you can know, because it is written that they have been given a delusion. Now that doesn't sound like, why would they be given a delusion? The reason the lawless have been given a delusion is because they themselves refuse to accept the truth. So they've been given a delusion, give them something to do, but you must be able to recognize them, because now is the time that they have to be moved out of the way. But you can't move them out of the way, or they won't be moved out of the way until they reveal themselves. And in some writings it says until the rebellion comes, then that's when, all of this, we see it. But it's a cycle, so it's not like it's just today, or just a year, or just at this time. It's just the way it goes down. So stay on your path, do what you're supposed to do, and don't let it get you down or get you weak on what you're mixing it. That's what I have to say, and I yield the floor.
Islam. And to counter back that, to not know in this time, to not know in this quote unquote electrifying age, is really at your own detriment, because there's no need for people to make erroneous claims like they're credible, and people go for it. As soon as the people go for it, you know that they're still in a dumbed down state.
Yeah.
Because, like we're saying, with whether you go into any one of the brainwash camps that they call religion, the heads of those don't do the stuff that the minions do. The heads of those have their own realm that they exist in. Matter of fact, the heads of those, all of them meet at the same place.
Yeah.
The heads aren't separated by religion like the common people, like the finite minds are separated. The heads know that, we might say Islamic or Muslim or whatever, but we're owned. And most of the time, they're owned by the quote-unquote Ashkenazis that war unto those that call themselves Jews and are not Jews. War unto them. Right?
Yeah.
It should be war unto those that call themselves Moors, but they're not Moors.
Wow.
Yeah. Right, remember,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. What you just said reminded me of something also that I anciently read, or ancient readings, and it said, I just wanted to interject what you just said. It says, shame on you, you wretches, you poor devils, you pretenders to truth, you falsifiers of knowledge, and sinners against these spirits. Do you still dare to listen now, when from the beginning you should have been seeking? And so it's saying you should have been seeking the truth. Right. Now you want to listen. And then it also says, and this is where you wake up, you sleepy head more from, do you still dare to sleep when from the beginning you should have been awake? So, and that's where you go into, it's easy for a holy person to sink into defilement, and for an enlightened person to sink into darkness, than for you to reign or not to reign, So I that's what that made me think of when you said that. Go ahead. It's all.
Yeah. So, right. The illusion is Like, we know that it's an illusion, but it's real because you can see it. Like when we say the mirage, you know what I mean, the hologram. Oh yeah, there's a, you know, Tupac on the stage and then he's, you know what I mean, dancing and doing his whatever like that. Oh yeah, that's a hologram. And then you reach up and the hologram gives you 5. And you feel 5. The illusion is real. Yeah, that might not be a hologram. That might be a clone now. The hologram might have been upgraded to a clone. Right? Remember, the illusion was that Moorish Science Temple is a religious corporation. The real was presented by active Moors who were in Moorish Science temples that, oh no, this is not religious, this is constitutional.
Exactly.
The reason why it's religious is because it's constitutional, not because Allah did something.
Right.
Right.
The reason why it's a religious corporation is because people's mindset was there at that time, stuck in religion, when they were supposed to be been past that already. How are they not past? How are they still in religious stage? Like if we check this right, and religion is where our people were at, then shouldn't Moorish science have been first, and then people graduate to Old Canaanite Temple, which obviously would have been civic, because they didn't talk any religion when they mentioned Old Canaanite Temple. They don't even talk about what they taught, so nobody really even knows what was going on in Old Canaanite Temple.
That's right.
But we know for a fact that if he said religion in 1929, 1928, he said, oh yeah, we're going to start mentioning religious because of, you know, the influx of religious-minded people that we're seeing at this time. Then those people were late. And then stuff is backwards because, you know, obviously the dumb down escalated after 1927. Like for them to I'll say devalue. For them to devalue the Moorish mind by having to start a religious corporation would mean that these dumbasses weren't getting what was going on in the civics, or they weren't taught civics, which is why the religion thing had to be brought in to get people to join, to be part of it. Because when you talk constitutional to a mental slave, you get nowhere. Just like Araminta Bey was trying to teach common law, but these people have slave mind.
Right.
I don't know who Araminta Bey is. Araminta Bey, that's Harriet Tubman.
Right. Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, right.
So if she's teaching you how to get off the plantation, and the way that you get off the plantation, you're going to be taking land there, and then you're going to be following stars and constellations and stuff like that. Clearly she was teaching nature's law and common law to the people who wanted to not be slaves anymore.
The Quran also says, for all those, when you open it up, first few chapters they talk about, well, not the first chapter, not the fallen creation of man, but it says for all those who love Jesus, because the people were in that mindset, as you said, and making it real clear that the other thing to make real clear, Cujo, when you say that he started that by the way, he started it with a affidavit, not a 501c3 people, all right? But when he did that, for that reason that it was there, that was an add-on to. That's why he said adopted. But they today say, oh, no, this is what they do. Oh, no, he changed the whole thing. And this is how they erroneously and deceitfully try to wipe out the civic force.
Yep. And then that doesn't include all the things that they did, like part and partial, and telling you that when Noble Drew Ali said Constitution, he meant divine Constitution and bylaws. Why would he mean that? Why would he talk about American citizens but mean the divine Constitution and bylaws for an organization?
Right.
Why would he say declare your nationality, but he means divine Constitution and bylaws of an organization?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And again, it's like, the people's mindset being put in such a shallow grave that all they gotta do is just, lift your head up and you start breathing. Like, they didn't put you under no dirt or nothing like that. These just threw a shovel of dirt on your face and said they buried you alive. And then you fell for it. It's no different than the little brother who was in the water, and then he slipped and he grabbed the rope and he's crying about, oh my gosh, I'm drowning or whatever like that. And then somebody grabbed him under his arms and he's standing in freaking ankle high water.
Right.
Talking about he's drowning. Because he got caught up in the illusion. Got so caught up in the illusion that didn't even recognize that he was in ankle high water, holding on to the rope like death is around the corner. And anyhow he lets go of this rope, he's done for. The water's gonna take him down the river into the whatever. Tripping. But then again, when you get into people tripping, like people who were in the streets or whatever, and then they come into more science, certain people call themselves leader, they have crackhead tendencies. They have, you used to be on something because you're tripping right now. You have to be tripping to be talking crazy like these people talk. You had to have abused some substance at some time in your life, or still abusing substances. It's like one of the more, like Brother Supreme was saying, that, anybody who has the drunk uncle, a drunk can't play like they're not a drunk.
That's good. There you
go. Wow.
Never
get him back in. Yeah, he dropped.
Yeah. Because he was about to go on the drunkards and the spirits. You know what I'm saying? And I recall as well. I recall as well, you know what I mean? Yahshua talking about how, he was basically saying, look, you can't judge me for coming around the courtesans, the drunkards, thieves. You feel me? Because some of them have a problem.
Let me
that
get him back in.
Out. Facts, right? So, huh?
Hold on, man. I think I got him. You said you can go?
Yeah, I'm back. They try to.
Oh man, wonderful. All right. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah.
Ms. said you were ready to go in.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you was about to go in with the subject of the spirits and the quote unquote drunkards, and I was saying how some of them have more moral principles than people who are put on Moorish regalia, because you got to remember, one of the sciences or philosophies that was taught, or the wisdom that was dropped in the Circle 7 Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Yahshua was talking about how, you know, he was basically repelling those trying to judge him for being around the courtesans, the drunkards, and the thieves. And he was saying how, you know, some of them have worked out problems that you're still trying to solve. So, you know what I'm saying? You could the contrast in the morality, you know what I'm saying? Because they're under different conditions, but intentions are everything. And then bring me back to the science, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what you look at, Noble Drew Ali was dealing with science, right? He said Moorish Science Temple of America. You know what I'm saying? Not even Moorish Mathematic Temple of America. Not even Moorish, you know what I'm saying? Anything else Temple of America. He said Moorish Science, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, right? Moorish Science Temple of America. Why science, though? Because science covers all of the other subjects that you could think of. You know what I'm saying? So, because science is knowledge. So when we talk about the knowledge of spirits and those who are tapping in, you know what I'm saying? You see it happening with, because you got to remember, you know, they was doing that based off of the land, not to abuse, but to tap in. You see people travel all over the world today to go sip ayahuasca down in South America. But I'm just saying that science dealing with the spirits, you got to look at the etymology of what is science. You know, if he said the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, because people try to marginalize, you see the Moriscos trying to marginalize what science is and what Noble Drew Ali didn't say. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at the etymology of science, it comes from Latin, scientia, which just means knowledge. From science, right? From the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. From science, of sire, to know. That's what it means. To know what? Everything you can. So it's not marginalized to just, you know, go into a political council meeting. You know what I mean? And that's, quote unquote, Noble Drew Ali's more science. Like, if you're talking about science, and it's just generally the word itself just means to know, you know, and then it has different ramifications of different sciences. Because it says in the linear entries, it says knowledge. Science is knowledge, comprehension, or understanding of the truths, plural, or facts of any subject. So if it's talking about the knowledge of the truths and the facts of any subject, you know what I mean? You can't say that it was just marginalized or Noble Drew Ali science is this and that's it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's specifically if he's saying study, study, study. You know what I mean? Not that everything you study is going to be quote unquote productive if you're not knowing what you're looking for, but the fact that it wasn't limited, because he even brought it back to the fact that it's about the knowledge of yourself, and that's how he began to uplift Moorish Americans or Moors, period. So if he's talking about knowing yourself, and there's so many layers and ramifications with that, you know what I mean? Even down to
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no. What I wanted to add on before you get off the topic of science is that the only science, like when they make the statement, so and so people, they don't teach Moorish science like how Noble Drew Ali taught or whatever, Moorish science, or they're not teaching Noble Drew Ali's Moorish science or whatever. These people who talk crazy just like that, ask them to show you, just like you would ask a Christian, Show me where in the Bible says Christianity. Show me where in the Holy Quran says Moorish science. That Noble Drew Ali brought that.
Right.
Noble Drew Ali brought a building called Moorish Science Temple, but Noble Drew Ali never brought the term Moorish science is the science of the Moors. Moors get that from the name of the organization.
Right.
There's nowhere in the literature that Noble Drew Ali identified the science as Moorish. Moors did that, but they're not going to say Noble Drew Ali didn't bring that. But they're going to try to convince people of what active Moors are doing. That Noble Drew Ali didn't bring what active Moors said, but he brought Moorish science. When Moorish science not even mentioned in the Quran.
Right.
And I wanted to add that another thing is when we're talking science and we're talking conscience, content means with science. Because if you put CON, which actually means with or bind together, and then write science, there's your content. You are with science. And as you said, that's all of the science. But that's what I wanted to add. But I'm also hearing what you're saying, Cujo, in that where did they even get that? Oh, that's Moorish science. Where's that written at? Even in the prophet's work and stuff. So, yeah, interesting point.
Yeah.
So they're trying to say also in that, like you said, all right, so the divine constitution and bylaws, that's for those who are in that organization that's teaching them to be better people, period, and follow that for the organization. But we're all Moors, and, they want to say that, they're really talking clubbism is what it ends up being. And that's just such a dishonor to the national principles that the prophet brought into the family. It really, truly is. But this is their new campaign thing. Well, oh, no, that's not what the prophet thought. Right. Sure. Teaching about the Constitution and national principles and civics. Like they're teaching people to think, well, if you mix civics with the prophet's work, it's fraud. And the problem I have with that is that, there was someone who emailed that, and that's what they believe because that's what these people in the so-called MHHS Eyes or whatever are literally teaching and now propagating all over as it's really slander against the prophet, if you ask me, and against the family, because that's like, that means that either they're teaching that to misguide the people and they themselves believe that, and that's the question I have. Do you think these people actually believe that, or that they're just purposely doing it to misguide the people because they're contemptible spirits? What do you think? Do they really know better, or do they not?
I mean, when a turncoat Moor comes in under the tutelage of RVBey Publications and studies for, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So studies for 8 years or whatever, and says, what they're talking about is BS, you know that they know.
Mm-hmm.
You know they know. Because, if they were on the inner circle, then they've been to court. They know that the writs work. They know that Moors had their own plates, beat these people up, having their own plates. They know that Moors beat these people up with taxes. They know that Moors beat these people up with fines. They know Moors been to jail, signed out on their own recognizance, while other people got to pay $50,000 bond and stuff like that. So they know. And they're taking the position of, for whatever reason, being a turncoat, whatever reason it is, you know what I mean? Because we don't know. They don't show any evidence of anything. They don't even say their name. So we have no evidence. But, we could use our common sense to know what's going on. If we're in tune with the universe, if you're in tune with nature, if you're in tune with, the Constitution, and you're in tune with other Moors, who are in tune with those things that you're in tune with, you guys see this stuff coming from a mile away, and immediately you start, putting up the defenses, right? Which is, laying down the facts for these people to fall over when they start talking like they know something, right? This is why, we get to that thing of even, Taj and Anita lesson, RVBey lesson. You don't respond to these people about, we got something to debate. Just put the facts out. The facts will shut these people up tomorrow. Don't worry about whether the people get it or if they're going to get it or, well, I don't understand. What do they mean by that and all that? If they studied, they would know.
Exactly.
So when these people come around, unless it's the warrior spirited people who are gonna put the rope around these people and drag them behind their truck, unless it's those people, have an obligation. When you see these frauds starting to disrespect your master teachers and stuff like that, that you say something about it. Don't let them disrespect your master teachers. You think somebody could come slap Ip Man up and all that stuff, and his students don't come deal with some people's cases?
Mm-hmm.
You think guys gonna pull each finger of the glove and shit like that, slap dude, challenge you to a duel or whatever like that, and the top students not stepping up and saying, no, you're not even fighting my master. What are you talking about? What do you mean you want to fight my master? You can't even deal with non-temple Moors. You know what I mean? You can't even back them down. Non-temple Moors are gonna make you guys look like clowns if you want to debate something. And you want to talk about go against master teacher, and RVBey should reply to something, and Taj should reply to this video because you did a video. The hell out of here. How about deal with all these Moors who study from them that you guys never want to deal with? Because you already know some of these Moors, they do have that mentality. They're going to come with a crew of Moors, and you guys might get your ass kicked and stuff like that. Just because you thought that this was, love and no justice coming or whatever. Oh, yeah? You keep thinking that. Keep thinking that these Moors are going to keep playing, you know what I mean? That they're coming into this information. You know how many Moors come into the information, and in us building with them, they come to that place where, you know what I mean? Like, and we, usually you could ask Moors, I let Moors vent or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they call me to get stuff off their chest, right? And
yeah. He's still there, but something happened to his sound. He's on.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't disco, so that means disconnect.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah,
I think
But let me get this on too. Back to the science of it, right? Because number 2 in the entry, it says science is knowledge amassed, and then it says severely tested, like severely tested. You know what I mean? If you look at it, Moors have applied the science that was being taught, because if Noble Drew Ali is teaching that chapter 1, just basic entry level information, that man is the Lord of the plane of everything made manifest. You know what type of birthrights go with that, divine and national? If that's the case. I mean, if that is the case, and I do trust, based off of the law of nature, that it is. Like, sincerely. That doesn't mean I don't apply wisdom and know when and when not to do certain things. But I'm just saying that these are birthrights, even down to the right to travel. If you're saying, Noble Drew Ali's didn't teach that science and what they're teaching is not, quote unquote, more science, like Cujo pointed out earlier, who coined that term, but nonetheless, Moors is dealing with the science. Noble Drew Ali left, even when they do exercise certain rights that, people are afraid of. I mean, you have to be selective and wise about the necessities of doing certain things. But, you know what I mean? Nonetheless, the fact that if you do believe everything Noble Drew Ali said, and it's not even about believing because he was about science, which is knowing. But for those who claim them to be, professed protectors of the Prophet and trying to say that what was being taught by Taj RVBey wasn't more science, just break down that portion of the Circle 7, Chapter 1. To me, when he's saying that, you know what I'm saying, man is the Lord of the plane of all things made manifest. Do you not see yourself as that? And then he goes on to tell you, man is mine, so as a man thinketh, so is he. You know what I mean? So if he thinks that, somebody else has dominion and rule over him, so is he. But that don't mean that just because he invites you to be on a plantation with him, that you have to accept that because, he's stuck on the plantation with all the Moorish regalia they done stole his mind with, including his fez. Why he said, careful, Moors, some of your own with turbans and fezzes will try to put you back into slavery. You know what I'm saying? They stuck on the plantation with just the regalia. You feel me? So when
that's funny, but I got the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, really, because we're talking about things. We're talking about knowledge amassed, severely tested, ordinated and systemized, especially regarding those wide generalizations called the laws of nature. And we just went over it on Thursday, Sons of Allah broadcast, MHHS, about the importance of the law of nature, how it was going in on that in the Institutes of American Law, John Bouvier's Institutes of American Law. So it's like when you put all of that in perspective and you're talking about the law of nature being superior in obligation to any other law, that includes biology, that includes your bloodline, natural ascension, descension, as far as bloodline is concerned, lineal heirship, etc., that is a very primitive part of the laws of nature that are superior in obligation to any other laws, quote unquote laws, because they could be talking color of law, which is not law. It's not de jure law. It doesn't have standing. So, all of those things considered, we have to consider the fact that science is knowledge, and knowledge is infinite. It's not limited to just a couple of letters or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And what was going on just pre-1933. We 21st century here, and Prophet Noble Drew Ali's works and are definitely in perpetuity. However, you got to consider the timeline and the climate of that particular era. You know what I mean? What was going on with the politics at that particular time? You know what I mean?
Not that the principles changed, though. Not that the principles changed at all.
Yeah. They never changed.
And also, as was mentioned earlier, and Cujo is back on the line, the prophet said to enforce the Constitution for the United States of America so that you are not molested by other citizens. So how do they get to say, oh, no, he was talking about the divine Constitution and bylaws? I mean, how do they miss that when it squarely stated, squarely said. And if you're talking, and then, further on to say, if one does not answer up to the national constitution, but that clear, that's not the divine law, divine constitution and bylaws for the organization, which, by the way, I reiterate, that organization was to make for you to go in and learn what you needed to learn so that you could go out on the word that was given you there and link yourself back to the family of nations and take your place amongst the affairs of men. Now, everything I just said, Prophet Ali said that. So you go into the organization so that you could get straight, if you will, and they go out and take your place amongst the affairs of man. He said that. That's what that was about. Now,
look how devious these people are with regard to violating what Noble Drew Ali said. Instead of calling other people out, look how devious that their violation is. They have a religious corporation, right, with a constitution in it that has the same amount of articles as the national constitution. You don't think those things go together?
Exactly.
You really don't think that he told you 7 articles in divine constitution, and then this is where they get that BS about, divine constitution and bylaws, and then they say Act 1 is the constitution and Act 2 to 7 is the bylaws. Well, the bylaws, just like the amendments, is part of the constitution. So what do you mean that it's separate? Because remember the whole thing. The reason why they separate it like that is because if you put Article 1 in there, then they're going to have to know law because they're Grand Sheik and Chairman. You're not going to... The Grand Sheik and Chairman is empowered to make law and enforce law. You can't enforce what you don't know, and you can't make what you don't know. How are you making and enforcing laws and telling people about religious stuff? Because even if you're creating religious laws, right? Because remember, by now, between 1913 and now, divine constitution and bylaws is supposed to look like UCC codebook by now, if these people were enforcing and making law like they're supposed to be doing.
Right,
when people come into the Moorish Science Temple of America, they would get a book like the UCC law book saying, oh yeah, these are the Moorish laws.
Now you're absolutely right, because it's just precarium and just I'm sorry, I need to get it in the law book. It's in the Black Law Dictionary, but that's what that title was for, to adjust for the civil law, for the good of the people. That's what their power is. That's what they're talking about, because all tax to the law. I do have a question, too, because someone wrote something, and unfortunately I don't have it in front of me, but it sounds really, really, really good. And then they were talking about that it was to be a nation within a nation. Now, I'm kind of like, they must be talking about the concept of the MHHS temples, because there's only one nation. So it's like, and that's
but
correct.
the nation within a nation is Moorish Science Temple, because Moorish Science Temple of America is supposed to be a state, just like the Vatican's a state. And the nation within a nation is the quote-unquote state. Moorish Science Temple.
Not corporate
part
state.
And parcel.
Yeah.
Not part and partial. Part and parcel, yes. Not corporate state, because Moors are Elodio. Why would we be a corporate state if we're Elodio?
Exactly. Because when people hear state, that's all they think about is corporations. That's a part of not knowing who is who and what is what.
Because
wow,
you when you go to the convention records, right? That is public record. You're supposed to be able to go to any Moorish Science Temple of America and get the records of the convention. What is Noble Drew Ali talking about in the convention minutes when he's talking about Asiatic states? In America, what are you talking about? Asiatic states. And then you're going to get the breakdown of this later on, but one of the Moors got the family will, and then the family will is talking about the Queen of Savannah and the Queen of Florida shaking hands and stuff like that. What has anybody ever heard about a Queen of Savannah or a Queen of Florida? And don't even try to tell me that that's some Europeans.
Right.
And then keep in mind, this is in the family will, so it had to be notarized, whatever like that, to have the, force of law or whatever, right? Some way, shape, or form, it had to be acknowledged as from this ancestor, or it would not be still around today in the future family. Right. Again, which is going back to that thing about make law and enforce law. A will is law. When somebody says, we're going to write a will and we're going to give all the stuff to whoever's in the family, doesn't that sound like judicial authority? Doesn't that sound like the quote-unquote head of the household making a decision on behalf of everybody, including the people who are not even born yet?
Exactly. And it's not to be confused with any will that's done under the jurisdiction of a corporation. People don't get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like to the point where there's geographical boundaries in the will that aren't even existence on the land anymore. That's how much your birthright got stolen. Then this is just one more. This is just one more, right? We already know that, Sister Roz, Miz, and all of them, they already put their family record on the record that, they're Aboriginal and indigenous to here. They got land and all that. It's not some little pocket thing that, few people that were quote-unquote black in the Americas had land. Like, that was common stuff for free blacks to have land, their own land, that they never got from slave masters.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like the Moors going through the corporate documents or whatever, looking to not the corporate documents, the corporate departments that claim to be they have the whatever land information registry of whoever and whatever and all that stuff, and the jurisdiction that his family claims there is their land is saying that, we have 1 acre of land. 1 acre of land is our land. He goes and checks the records in the city stuff, and the city stuff is saying 5 acres. But the family is saying 1 acre.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes and checks the thing, and he finds out that there was a street that's the same name as his family's name, but that goes like 800 miles in a direction, one street. And he's trying to say that there's only 5 acres. But hold on a second. Well, if the name of the street is the people whose land it is, then clearly their jurisdiction goes as long as this street, not just some 5 acres. Right? Now, when you put that into context with Moorish Science Temple of America, meaning that the grand whoever That's the head of the household, whether male or female or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, there's a head. And then that head is the actual trustee for everything that's in possession of the family, right? Which in the case of Moorish Science Temple, it would be, these members or whatever, right? That anything that they got, what Noble Drawley say, put it in the name of the Prophet or Moorish Science Temple. Why did he say do that? Like, why would he say do that? Why not put it in your own free national name? And then this is where the concept of the trust, and Noble Drawley created a trust, and then people are looking for a paper.
Exactly.
When it's a concept, it's a mindset. If we're a body of Moors, clearly we should be doing, like, everything that we have should be in our own part. If we're a body of Moors, whatever jurisdiction that you're in, if you're a group of Moors, it doesn't make sense that you're a group of Moors, but you're going outside of Moors for everything. It's like a Moor called me today, and they're feeling down, and it's like people are not talking to me, and I can't really talk to everybody, and because you're still trying to engage with Negroes. You're beyond that mindset. You can't have a Moorish mindset, but you're engaging with Negroes 80% of the day, and 20% of the day you're dealing with Moors. But 80% of the time you're dealing with Negroes. You're never going to get right. Your energy is always going to be drained because that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Because again, this is not just some national whatever. This is highly spiritual. This is highly spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
This is not just,
Absolutely.
our birthrights, and we have the right to do something, and because we said it, that's why. No, your spirit better be in the right place when you start talking about them rights. Because the rights aren't going to work if your spirit's all messed up. You got a Negro spirit talking about you got rights.
Exactly. And
there's a difference.
Before you got to know your information and bringing in the colored stuff into it to infiltrate it and color it all up. That's wrong.
Right. Or blatantly just avoid the allodial perspective. Like Noble Drawley wasn't allodial.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if he's saying you have your own flag, he's allodial.
Yeah. That's true.
If there's no other comments at the moment from either of you two, we can open up the lines because it's freestyle to see if there's something that someone else may want to put on the table. I do see one hand up already. So if anyone has any comments or questions to put on the table, press 1 on your dial. Did you want to add anything else before we take callers?
I just want to ask you this, not to go off, but as far as the gender, and some nondescript claiming that he helped establish MHHS Sister Standing on Law, but he came around in 2009. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like,
put that on
touch on that. Do you want to save that for you and Anna E is back on the line? I know.
No. I was pretty certain that somebody would probably ask that question and bring it up, but let's just lay it kind of out. I didn't listen to all the stuff, but I got the gist of it, and I heard something. Yeah, there's this guy. Look, these people on this Morisco TV, we'll call it that. They as you said, looking for attention and I really don't really know what their purpose is, other than to look for attention and to again reveal themselves so that you can know who they are. But there's this guy they got that they drug off the street, I guess. I don't know. We don't even really know the person. We had an affair 5 years ago, and how we managed to see who that was based on them saying that they met us.
When you say we had an affair, can you clarify what you mean by affair? Can you just clarify that?
Oh, okay. All right. We had an event where we were asked to come onto the Atlantic City Boardwalk specifically, and with our information and books. And this was 5 years ago, and so there was some Moors that came down, and then afterwards we came to our home, and there was certain Moors that came to the home, but. You know how you have a friend that brings a friend that brings a friend that you don't know? Well, the person that's speaking, talking about how he's rubbed elbows and been in our circle, it's really weird. He was a friend of a friend that we didn't know that was invited in. So that's your warning and your sign about, and these days it's time, especially in these days and times, of keeping your circle closed, for real, because this is a perfect example of that. Now, the person was asked to come on because they rubbed elbows in the circle. Not in a positive manner are they coming on. In fact, a lot of what they're saying is absolutely not even true, but it's even comical in a way because we didn't even know who this person was because they was a friend of a friend that brought a friend, all right? And so they were here, they were there, they were at the event, at the boardwalk, so they did see some things, meet some people, talk to some people, etc. like that, but they were still a friend of a friend of a friend, which is why you don't see that. I mean, keep reiterating that. And then part of what they're doing now is like they're both sticking their chest out, but what I find funny is they're making comments and saying things that are absolutely untrue. They don't even really, like they're talking about Todd, they're talking about me. They think they're talking about me because the things that they're saying are so crazy in that. This is a great example. They're talking about, Rise, her grandchildren are really cool or whatever like that. I don't have any grandchildren. So there you go. I'm like, all right, I know. I'm just telling you. I know who they're talking about. It's another sister that they've been hanging around with, but I'm not going to mention who they are because I don't want to put no one in this ridiculous pot. However, I'm just saying to you that the things that this person is saying, they don't even really know who they're saying things regarding me, and it's clear that they don't know that whoever they've been hanging out with, that's not me. But by the things they said, it's real clear. Now, they also said that they helped us start. Imagine this little young brother helped us start Sisters Standing on Law. I mean, that's another thing because that concept was a mental concept between myself and Sister Annie Lee. All right? And there was no nickel, they had no nickel in that dime in that concept. But I happen to know that the other sisters that they're talking about, saying is me, that they've been obviously hanging around with, that person had a private sisters class because, I know that because I figured out that they are talking about someone else thinking they're talking about me. So this brother don't know what the hell he's talking about, but here's the thing. Even if he were in, or then he said he was in our circle, it's clear you weren't in our circle, that's for certain, but you were present at an event. So, but even if he was present at an event, why would he go on a show, broadcast 5 years later? I'm like, well, wait a minute. When I heard, I'm like, he started going on and saying, I saw Mr. Ross or Taj or Miss Rain, and I saw where they buried the body or something. I'm like, what? Like, there's nothing to say. I'm like, what are they saying? You know, and even if it was about someone else, because it is about someone else, they think it's about me, because they got people wrong. But even whoever it was about, why would you even, if you were welcome to come into someone's place and space, why would you then 5 years later or any time later have anything to say that isn't even, like, you didn't even witness anything bad? Not that I'm suggesting that they're going to go on and make up a lie. You know what I mean? Like, why, man?
I also want to, Brother Supreme L, make sure you check out his channel. It's also posted on Canaan Land Moor's channel, and I'll be posting it on mine as well. But the pardon the interjection, I did I was on there last night for further clarification. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know nothing about anybody else, what he did with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And because it was only one time we set up on the Atlantic City Boardwalk.
One time.
So this is
one time.
One time. And it only take a groupie or what you want to call it. You know what I mean? Somebody who's looking for notoriety. Oh, I chill with them. That's why I don't let people to, like, you know how I move. I don't be playing that shit because this is what Negroids do. You feel me? 5 years later, because they came to one event and saw us there, they feel like they got the right to attach. You know what I'm saying? And even taking that back into the Gnostic wisdom, the law of detachment. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? When people trying to attach and claim notoriety, like I said, it's like going to a concert, getting a backstage pass for one day, and then trying to act like, you know what I'm saying, you might have got a backstage pass and an autograph, but that was that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you're in the inner circle. Like I said, I know for a fact I don't know, I'm pretty sure you don't know what those people that came up from Florida that time did after that day. Because whatever was eaten, right, everything that, because true or false, all Moors that was at the festival came over to our house afterwards. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right. And everybody ate the same exact thing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And nobody outside of that day did they ever go grocery shopping with you? Like, that came up from quote unquote.
No, that's another thing they said. They said they went grocery shopping with Sister Roz. I'm like, what? No, y'all, here it is. I've been done a lot of grocery shopping in my life. I don't even like going into this. I send someone else in the family to go. But I damn sure wouldn't be going grocery shopping with this person that, like, it doesn't even make sense. So, again, I say, they're talking and mixing stuff. They're not even talking. Like, it appears that after that day, they were hanging out with certain other people who were here in another territory, like I think around Philadelphia's area or whatever, and people confused, or they're confused, or they just want to talk. Maybe they went to ShopRite or wherever it was, grocery shopping with that person, but they never was shopping with me. I don't even go shopping. I don't. But, yeah, so that's the kind of stuff they're saying, and it just is ridiculous, you know.
Yeah,
and I made, wait a minute, I thought I heard you say that they said I made a mean vegetarian pasta or something, or vegetarian something, but then I heard it was that I made a mean spaghetti. Well, by the way, people, I use the crumbles. They're really cool. But I didn't make either one because that day there was consistency and they did that. So, I don't know what this guy's talking about.
Lying, though. Like, variety. But y'all,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's the most nigger thing I ever heard. Somebody coming around for one day because of a festival and acting like, you know what I'm saying, you was around and rocked hard body with us. That's false. And helped create MHHS and helped create Sisters Standing on Law, and you know what I'm saying, was there when you was typing.
That's the worst one. Yeah.
Yeah, like all of this, I'm like, yo, this is ridiculously a stretch. This is the illest reach I ever heard of. Like, seriously, because I remember that day and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna pick this. If they ever been around, they're gonna say something where I know it's true. But again, I don't want to say the same exact things I said on part in the interjection last night, but those are the facts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we don't know him like that. You know, he came up for a festival. Anybody could come up from anywhere festival for one day. That don't mean, you know, you in the inner circle. I've been places where we linked up with multiple people and I was glad to meet them, but that doesn't mean I was like trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm on the inner circle, look at me type of thing. Like some lame shit. Real.
Shopping together and all this craziness.
Notoriety.
But
looking for notoriety.
There's something else to add. Why would the person who hosted that broadcast even bring something like, what were they looking for something? Or they're just looking to talk to get attention? What is the purpose of that? That's what I want to know. I really don't. I mean, what? Why would they do that?
It's definitely attention. It's definitely attention because, again, this is, you know, there is consciousness is a market now. It's not just way of thinking. You know what I mean? Like, people have made thousands of dollars off violating our people, violating their consciousness. You know, like charging them to stay dumb. Charging people to stay dumb, and people are paying. People are paying to stay dumb. Whether they give up their mind, whether they give up their soul, whatever it is that they're giving up, you know what I mean? For this, you know, 2-second showtime.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like a 2-minute, a 2-hour popularity contest.
Yeah, it's actually.
Who can be popular the shortest?
Yo, that's.
Well, I have to say, you know, and it's almost like we're some celebrities. No, we don't think that at all. So on one hand, you would think, oh, is that what they're talking about? Well, they're not. But then at the same time, it's like it's very, very violating. It's very petty. It's very scary. You know what I mean? And you know, again, we reiterate: circles are closed. Yeah. Circles be closed. Now, Cujo said it. He says, "Look, you got 80% of your time around unconscious or Negro-minded people in these days and times. You know that can bring you some instability. And it doesn't mean that you can't talk to them or whatever like that, but you know it is a problem. Now, the prophet already gave you some inspiration on that in many ways throughout the entire Quran. However, he said if you're the only one, you just gonna have to be the only one, because you know this kind of stuff and this energy can really rub off, and it can drain your energy. It can, like you said it, because it can drain you. And so what's happening is that it's even more draining. So we're not saying don't associate with your friend or your family because they're whatever, but you just have to guard yourself and keep, you know, just stay squared up as best you can. You know, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
So, again, Miz, pardon the interruption. Miz was on there last night and kind of rebutted or
it's called pardon the interjection. I said pardon the interjection. Supreme L. And it's on Cujo page, and I have it on my page too. Shortly.
Okay.
I don't have it up there yet, for sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no.
One quick thing. When you see these people pretend like they used to be around, right? Like they were on the inner, like Moors, even with the dirty Moors here. When people come to our temple finally, right, and they tell us the Moors who they've been around, it's the same thing. They play like they were down, they were on the inner core of our stuff because they had a department and they realized we were doing BS, so they left. This is how they tell the story. So remember, right? Just because we said pardon the interjection, remember when you go watch that, to put it on the record, the people who speak from that perspective, turncoat people, been down with this and now they're not down with it or whatever, remember that those were the people, if they were in the inner circle, they were the errand boys. They were the people who recognize, the people who come around, right, and think that this is some type of showtime, whatever, and they get taken advantage of. They get, oh yeah, you want to do something here? Go to the store, go buy some stuff. Since you want to do something. Oh yeah, you want to be down? You want to be down with the thing? Okay, fold these up. You got stuff to do. But you can stay here, fold up these 100 shirts, and we'll be back in an hour if you want to do something. And then, those people weed themselves out because they realize they don't want to work. So we can't use them anyways. But they're the errand boys. Let's remember. Right? Islam said they're the supreme L, and pardon the interjection.
What is his affirmation again? It's pardon the interjection is the name of the broadcast, and what's the brother's appellation?
Supreme L.
Supreme L.
Yeah.
All right. Peter Moss to Supreme L. All right. So let's take some callers here. Let's come back up again. All right, so I'm going to take the callers in the order that they have been waiting. Let's see. We have 228-627. You're live on the air.
Islam, Mose. Islam.
Peace, man.
Islam. Can you hear me?
Islam, can you hear? We can hear you.
Yes, I can. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I enjoyed I enjoyed the discussion tonight and talking about the Constitution and Moor Science Temple, the study. Everything has a science to it. Understanding about this Moorish course that we're on. Because everything is based on knowledge, I'm beginning to understand very clearly. I don't know if you got my text. I sent a text message to Eyes Wide Open that I'm having problems with my bank. Well, matter of fact, my bank told me don't come back no more until I either have, I guess, a tax code or proving that I'm a Moor, proving that I'm a United States citizen because they don't want to accept my.
Yeah, but recognize what they did. When they did that, recognize what they did. They did you a favor. They freed you.
Well, that's kind of the way that I'm looking at it, also, because it's freeing me because I'm realizing you got to be either or, and they was telling me that their system was a democracy, and me just double checking. Excuse me.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying what. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So just double checking with them. So I said, well, what do you mean you don't uphold Constitution? Because I have a constitutional right to use this ID, and I've been using it at this bank for a while now, and all of a sudden, there come a certain change. So, but I didn't press the issue, but I recognize when he said that they are running a democracy, and we know that democracy is basically more or less the mafia, or I guess you would say the Christian part of the Christian.
That's all fraud. That's all fraud. This is guaranteed Republican form of government. I've never heard anyone say that. There's a nice writ you can write regarding that. I mean, really? Democracy?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you said you sent the email.
Well, I guess when he said that, he meant that I don't know if he was trying to pick me or not, to try to make clear to me that he's not really running it according to the Constitution, but that he realized the Constitution, but but they are running the same democracy style. So you either, if you're going to be a part of this bank, this democracy, you got to prove that you are who you are as an Aboriginal. Because
no. You have to prove that you're part of the corporate state so they can deal with you.
Yeah, because they told me don't come back until I go to the IRS and get proof
All right. So what are they telling you? They're telling you that they're a fraud. They're telling you that the people that they're sending you to are a fraud, because if the people that they're sending you to are the Inquisition Revenue Services, why do you need them to sanction your birthrights?
Yeah, well, I was just listening because I wasn't going to do that. I was aware of that,
Right. But again, it goes back to, if you're aware of that, that's how simple it is. That's what these people should have been teaching people, so that right now they would have accepted your nationality card like they do for other Moors. Yeah. So now you have to now look at, like, so hold on a second. So if they're gonna do it for some Moors, and then they're not gonna do it for some other Moors, there's definitely a problem here. And the problem is not what.
So what do they mean then about they need a tax code? If they saying in order to accept my Moorish ID that they need a tax number, something.
Yeah, because your national ID is allodial, not feudal. They are feudal. You are not feudal. So they could only deal with feudal instruments. They can't deal with de jure instruments. If they deal with de jure instruments, they're over with.
Well, they're not letting me come back in that bank and using that ID.
Let me ask you
matter of fact,
did I hear you say that you were using it and now they interjected?
Yeah.
I guess because it seems like it's kind of like a simultaneous thing. My employer and my bank is acting the same way, because I guess when I first started using the Moors, my Moorish ID, if I would go on a job, I would fill out a W-2 form basically in the regular sense. But then when I learned how to fill out the W-2 form by using the NA or the ARA, all rights reserved, and fill it out where I didn't have to pay state and federal taxes, then I became a problem to them. So therefore, they started laying me off within a week or two because I guess they didn't want me out in the plant spreading the news to other employees about my status on payroll or whatever.
Yeah, but why? But why? Why? Because that means they would now have to pay everybody else's tax on top of yours.
So that's why they don't want me working. That's why I feel like
because they're the corporation. But this is why Noble Jewelry had manufacturing companies. So when you go get a job in a Moorish manufacturing company, you think you're going to give a state license as ID? If Noble Jewelry had a place called Moorish Community Center and you worked there as the chef, do you think when you went for that job, they're asking you for a state license?
No, it has to be a national license.
Oh,
okay.
No license at all.
Right?
License.
Now, wait a minute. If you're trying to get a job from a national, that's what you're saying?
Right.
Well, then you would need a national ID because you couldn't. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm feeling like I can't work with the system. The system don't want to work with me because
that particular aspect of the system is not the whole system. Remember that bank isn't the system. That's a bank. I'm sure there's other banks. I'm sure that's not the only bank in the world.
That's right. Oh, definitely. And
if that's the only bank, then there's a problem. There's another problem. If that's the only bank, there's no other bank that you could. It's like when Moore say, "Yeah, I went to buy this shirt, and then they wouldn't accept my nationality card, so I can get taxes off, and then so I want to send them a letter, and then why don't you just go to another store? Like, what's the creative?
Yeah. But the thing, I'm down here in Mississippi, and a lot of these folks ain't never heard of this stuff, and
they heard.
And I'm trying to get money, or I'm trying to transact business, and they're stopping it because they have the power to, because they're running it up on a patriotic system, and they're not really caring about the constitutional side unless you come in there, unless I'm coming in with full proof as a national, because this is Mississippi. So it's throwing me in a bind and seeming like everything is same.
No. Let me say this to you. That's not true. You have to be able to respond to them knowing, like, for instance, I know exactly what I think you're trying to say. It's like, oh, you proved to me, you just said they proved to me that you are a national. Listen, something similar happened with us. Prove your, substantiate your position as to why you don't pay sales tax or whatever like that. So, I get to the pen, knowing what you know, knowing, the law and knowing who you are, and from scratch, so to speak, write what you had to write, and when it was done, they couldn't go to the right, the left, underneath, on the side, nothing. It was a done deal. But the thing was, it's like, oh, wow. I was actually in a position where I really had to substantiate my position, which is what they're really asking is. Like the crew just said, just go to another bank. Like, some people use federal credit unions. Just because it says federal don't mean that it is. But they have more lax, supposedly more lax rules. But believe me, there's people who have those accounts. You need to take into account, do you really need that bank? Do you really need a bank? Can you do, quote-unquote, banking or moving finances, in some other way or whatever like that? But you can definitely get around it. But we're not going to sit right here and write and tell you what that is. If you did send that email, I have your phone number. It probably is a little delayed because the sister that monitors that, had to fire last Monday. And so I have your number. I will try to contact you and give you some idea of what I'm saying. Like I could sit here and read the letter that I wrote, but I will not do that because it's just not wise. It's just not wise because what'd you say?
I was just saying, too much errand boys out here. You have to watch what you say now.
Oh my God!
Just put stuff
oh
up.
my God!
You watch what you say.
For those who are not saying their heart and they can stand on it, not for those who want to take it and take a load of your information and dirty it up, to try to fit in somewhere like that, and then dirty it up and put holes in it and things, not holes, but make ways where darkness can leak into solid stuff. So I would share with you on another level, but not, and I'm not hiding anything from anyone, but it's just that there's a few questions and stuff like that you need to ask yourself and know. And I know I can feel your sincerity and your situation. So I will just make a brief contact with you with this phone number. All right?
Yes, that's a good number.
I will do that. All right. We'll do.
Yeah, it will be much appreciated.
I know. I remember your voice and everything, and I remember last week, and like I said, that email may have been delayed, but I'll get back with you.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. Peace and love. Thank you.
Peace and love.
All right.
You.
All right.
Love.
Indeed. You know what, though? It's one thing I neglect to say. I got to re-emphasize this. Like, he said he was dealing with so-called Mississippi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he said that they said they operate a democracy form of government, right? That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. That attitude is a direct result of carpetbaggers and scallywags, and a big acknowledgement to Cujo for forwarding the text message that was sent from a brother who sent some more info on that. Because one of the things I noticed about the picture was that KKK written on a donkey, which is the symbol for the... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, basically, that's what they're telling you. We carpetbaggers. You know what I mean? We're dealing with a fake political party post 1865 or 1860. You know what I mean? Post Congress Cynthia. You know what I mean? So that's what they're saying. Even though it's unconstitutional, basically they're standing on that. They're like, this is who it is. You don't know different. It's like somebody, in a sense, it's like somebody saying Moors and Moabites and thinking it's a different people they talking about.
Right, yeah.
Feel me? They must time. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. Even though these are words for them and actual identities for us, just saying that in the perspective of thinking you're talking about different people or different institutions, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost, I learned in school today, or I learned in the classroom today. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to know carpetbaggers, scalawags, and modern day Republicans and Democrats, same thing. Post 1860s. Key timeline overdraftly mentioned. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got a couple more callers, so let me add into the table here. Excuse me. understood. I'm doing something. Thank you for 214. Hold on. 214-567. You're live on the air.
It's on, family.
How are you?
It's on. This is Abdul Malik Sabir Shakur Bey. I'm calling from Northwest Maxim. Give a shout out to Anna L, to Anna Nee, to Ms. Ram, Cool Joe. I hear you online. Like I always say, what's up, is? Yeah, it's and the last caller that you all was speaking to, and I was listening, and I tell everyone, all Moors and Moabites, our illustrious prophet, Noble Ali Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali told her to study before you make any move trying to go forward. You might read and thinking that you have it, and like a soda, you open the top and the fizz come up, and you take that fizz and it's like, oh yeah, like you read it, but you still got 90% of the soda still in the bottle. You must understand everything what law states and understand what law is. You must know for sure and surety that you will be tested. Just because you're in the first grade, you think they're going to give you a diploma to graduate. You have 11 more years of learning and yearning to go through. There are trials and tribulations that you most must go through, meaning the testing to see are you qualified for the next stage. And if you are unsure within yourself, to the listening audience, please do not make that move. You must know for sure before you go forward, because not only your life is dependent on it, but all of us Moors are the European has a scale, and they are weighing us on it because, as Malcolm stated, and he stated the best, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, straight out lied to, and hit in the head. So therefore, what is that saying? That what you think you got a taste of, you don't know when it enter into your system what it takes for the digestive tract to dissolve, analyze, neutralize, and get the right nutrition and learning with the mind of this knowledge for you to go forth. This is what I like to state. All governments are founded in a matriarchy, but they're playing the Pope game with us Moors and Moabites on our own land. And we don't know that law and history goes together. History and jurisprudence goes together. If you know who you are and where you are, as Allah states, with the 7 Elohims, was, is, and evermore, and you can put an equal sign, and they will still continue in the same ramification, but lack your right leg and your left leg. History and law goes together because they are attached to one body. The principles has been held back from the Asiatics for generations. Don't get preoccupied at the European, although they had an agenda, and their agenda to keep you more ignorant and blinded from the true light. Many of our conscious Moors has been working with them, the European, the so-called American, to keep us in this condition. Remember, slavery is used kind of trivially. Slavery goes back to the Slovakians. They are the ones that left Europe and came to America. Al-Morocco, North Africa, North Morocco, the North Gate is where we are now. That's why I state dearly, prophetically, which I am nothing in the realm of those who have been sent by Allah, but yet during the study, yearning and learning, I know one must one must study and know before he make any step and trying to deal with these Europeans. This is our picture. We hear those who talk on the internet, the Facebook, YouTube, even this segment class here, and we know how our heart is. We feel truth, and our heart will lead us to go. But yet, is your heart shielded and protected from those arrows that are intended to keep you away from knowing who your foremothers and forefathers were and to the true knowledge of who you really are? You must put on, as they say every Sunday, and we're going to say it now, you must put on the whole armor. And like we used to say when I was a teenager, back in the early 70s, you can't go out here half-stepping. If you're going to take a step, you have to take a full step and go all the way. But make sure that you are equipped, that when those darts start coming at you and those questions come to you, you will be loaded and aimed and ready to take on all of the controversies that you have studied and, most of all, prepared yourself to go forth in. Islam, family, I relieve the flow.
Islam, thank you, brother.
Islam, peace and love.
For certain.
Right. We have one more caller. All right. 320.
7 minutes left.
330. Yeah. All right. 320-309. You're live on the air.
Peace and love, family. This is
Peace and love.
Inyan Eagle RVBey, Northwest New Mexico, Minnesota Territory. Peace to the forum, my sister Roz, Ms. Raim, Olive L, and Kuja Joel. Peace and love to Anita and that elder that was just on the line there. I just want to share two brief things with everybody. Sister Roz, you know how you always talk about who is who and what is what. Well, I was doing a little study and research on the so-calleds in my area. Now, in the county corporation of Stearns, near the municipal corporation of St. Cloud here in Minnesota, I did a little research on so-called Stearns County Court. Check out what I found. I went on Dun & Bradstreet. Now, Dun & Bradstreet is a company that keeps track of corporations. You know how they're doing, their credit rating.
Not really. No, not corporations. I gotta change that. I gotta say for you that Dun & Bradstreet. I'm gonna let you finish what you're saying, but I gotta make something real clear. Dun & Bradstreet is a glorified reporting agency, and most of the people that are on there are corporations. However, the reason I have to say that it's not necessarily corporations is because we do business with the federal from the federal treasury, and they assigned a Dun & Bradstreet. They assigned, without us even knowing it, a Dun & Bradstreet to RVBey publication. All right? And we are not a corporation. See, so I want to make it real clear that for the most part, yes, Dun & Bradstreet does keep track of corporations, but not just corporations, and that's not just what it is. And I had to make that clear because a rumor and slander went out saying that RVBey publications, they got a 501c. No one found that because we don't have one, and we're not no LLC either. And they assumed that we were that. They assumed it because that Dun & Bradstreet had been assigned to us, so they assumed that we must be that. So we, when we first found out, we were like, "What the heck? We do? We got one?" And so then we researched and found that they would assign that because they were writing checks for our family that's in the prison system through the federal treasury. So I just wanted to make that clear. But Dun & Bradstreet is a glorified, like you said, reporting agency for businesses or whatever like that. So go ahead and finish what you found.
So I type in Stearns County Court. I said, let me see what these people are about. And I type in Stearns County Court. This is what came up. Judicial Committee of Minnesota Corporation.
There it is.
Doing business as Stearns County Court. And it showed that. Now, correct me, maybe I'm mistaken. I've never known a court, a so-called court, to have a credit rating. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So now I know what is what, huh?
Exactly. Now you know what you're dealing with. That's right.
And so, and the second thing is, I'm a truck driver, CDL holder, and all of that. So I'm down in 3 weeks ago. I'm down in South Texas, and I've been through a lot of border checks. Every time, in 12 years, every time I went through a border check, they always want to see your CDL with a commercial vehicle. And so I had forgotten that I had to come through this border check. And I'm like, oh, man, that's right. So I go through the border check, and when I get up to be inspected, the guy says, are you a U.S. citizen? I said, no, I am not. I said, I'm a Moorish American national, and I domicile in the Minnesota Territory. And there was no drama. He just waved me through. He did. Now, the reason I bring that up, they always ask to see your CDL. He didn't ask for anything. He didn't ask for proof. He just waved me through. It was no drama.
Wow.
And so,
wow.
I
Now,
just
quick question. Quick question.
Yes, sir.
When you say that they always ask for the CDL prior and times before.
Absolutely.
What about the searching and stopping and checking to see, like, did they ever stop you before? Or is it something you always get?
A few times.
You always get waived through.
A few times they have. But this one, the reason I'm making a point about this, when he asked, was I a U.S. citizen, and I said no. I had already anticipated a lot of variables how this could go, but I was going to, confess my own regardless. I was prepared for that because this is me, and I'm going to stand on that. And I said, I'm Moorish American national, and I domicile in Minnesota territory. They walked the dog around the truck and trailer, and he said, go through. He didn't ask to see anything. He didn't, there was no drama. So I just wanted to share those two brief things, and I'm going to give the floor. Peace and love. Yes, sister.
Yeah. Islam, and I remember you on our Sister Standing on Law, you shared about the policy enforcers, and people can listen to that, who came into the hospital and the nurse had the patient and they wanted to take the blood from her.
Yeah, that was in Utah.
And then they were going to arrest her because she wouldn't let them do it, and then it came out. The whole thing came out that he was asked. Well, they did arrest him, but the whole thing came out that they were acting colorably, so there was a suit against them for that. And then that's when we went into color law.
That really struck me because they actually printed that.
Yes.
Colorably. And I've never seen them refer to a policy enforcer in that way. I'm like, wow.
Right, because everything is coming, everything is for what it is, but you also knew what that meant. So some people will hear, he was acting colorably, and not really know what that means because they're not studying what that really means. So, we trust in other people will become open as well to that. Wow. Thank you for your call. It's good to hear from you. All right. Peace and love.
Likewise. Love and light, family. All right. I yield the floor.
All right. Wow. All right. We have a couple more here. So. All right. We have 623-907. You're live on the air.
Islam, this is RVBey. For the next one.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love. And to Cujo and to Miz.
Love.
Peace and love. And I'm calling you a heartfelt shout out to Annie E to stay strong as she go through what she's going through. Let her know that we consciously with her, helping her to stay strong. So just put that out there in the universe. And also, yes, indeed, the Abdul Shakur, he was right. He was right on point. Great build, and the brother that just called, the situation in the truck. We shouldn't be as we continue to unfold. As man and women continue to unfold into these walking guides that we are, we shouldn't be surprised by that. That's what we should be expecting. You pull in, you say that, you keep going, because you unfolding into who you are and you being who you are. What we should, after a period of time, come to not expect someone stopping us and sending us through it. It shouldn't be. See, we in that mirror. We still in that mirror. If that is a surprise. And I'm just talking mentally. I'm not talking about what reality that exists out there that someone else created. I'm talking about once you create your own reality and live it out, you should be expecting those things. So, that was great confirmation, to yourself, being who you are, and as you continue to keep unfolding, that's great confirmation because we keep getting confirmation every day. And to the brother in Mississippi, I just wanted to reach out to him, tell him to stay strong, understand. I'm reaching out to meet you where you at, brother, because I've done some things like years ago in '89. Went to a tribunal, changed my name, did everything, and this is when I was following another school of thought, corrected my name, and went out and got a Social Security card and a birth certificate because I was ignorant. And I tell everybody, ignorant is a terrible thing. It's terrible. You know how I know? I was once ignorant to these facts. But it don't mean that you're stupid or dumb or this and that. You're just ignorant to certain things. But talking about confirmation to the brother there in Mississippi, I'm talking to you, meeting you where you at. All right? Go back to the root of when you first became conscious, and all the things that happened to you were lessons. And think them over. Do some self-reflection and think them over. And I'm saying that because when you start correcting your concepts, when you went to that bank or that institution, all they were doing, once you study, as Cujo said, you always hear, all right, when you went to that bank and approached that bank in the way that you did, the bank gave you confirmation of where you're at. So don't look at it as they don't want me to do this, they don't want me to do that. They a corporation. They can't want or not want, breathe, eat, bleed, and do none of these things. It's a corporation. Now, if you approach them properly, because Cujo gave you some keys, he let you know that you're flesh and blood, you're in full life in their corporation. The corporation can't deal with you. Sit back and take lessons from that, because that's your biggest lesson right there. Because I know you called in, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, and you keep saying they won't deal with you. Well, it's confirmation that you dealing in full life now, and you been dealing with corporations. Understand that. Because you can, once you understand that, you understand you can contract with whoever you want. I used to be a contractor, and a contractor, writes his own contracts to deal with whatever corporation that you're dealing with. But, I'm just putting that out there in the air. You getting confirmations, take the lesson, look at the lesson, because you hear study, but, sometimes our people, or like myself, and I like to always use myself, you hear study, and sometimes you might ask yourself, what to study? So study all those experiences that you have as you can continue to study law, as you can continually study yourself, take these lessons and study them and understand what's going on there. Understand the wall that's there. You walk in there in full life, they not really listening to you because they a corporation, policy enforcers, and they got a certain policy there, and that's what they're working with. But it's Moors navigating all day, every day, 7 days a week. So understand that, brother. So I just wanted to put that out of there, and most of all, put out there the shout out for Annie Eid, and the love for Annie Eid, and wholeness and love to everyone. All right, so family, Islam.
Yeah.
Peace and love to
and I'm sure,
fam, bro.
Peace.
Yeah, and thanks for shouting out to the sister, because that makes things so much better. Sending that love. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely, especially for the work that you guys do, day in and day out. And when we find that we got to remember chapter 25, and so if there's any adversity for the sister, and this is some brothers or sisters that can reach out, do what you can do. Mm-hmm. But as we said before, let's live this thing out. Let's live this thing out and be the walking guides that we are. Islam.
All right. Islam. Peace and love. Thanks for your call. Encouragement. Words.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. We have 804-921. You're live on the air.
Islam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this brother is Zach, calling here from near the Virginia Corporation.
All right.
Please, Moor.
I was listening to the other brother on the phone. He kind of brought me back to some stuff I was studying. I was looking at I had purchased Brother Mario's book on bonds, and I just was studying, and I just happened to run across Chesterfield, Virginia. They were talking about on their website, because I was searching up different bonds, and on their website it said that they were the top bond. They had the top bonds in the country. They were rated on their website. They were rated as number one in the bonds. I was like, this is kind of funny just to hear the other brother say that, because it's been a minute since I visited that, but I just wanted to share that it was funny when you all said it about the corporation thing. It was funny. So, so it just brought me back to some old stuff, That's all. And you all had a wonderful call. I mean, like I said, and I wanted to give a shout out to Brother Cujo, because to all y'all, matter of fact, but Cujo, I'm telling you, man, like the things that you're doing, man. I mean, like I said, do not let the vice grip. Don't let up, man. Don't let up, man. That's the only thing I can say.
We got him. There's a lot more. We got him.
Yes, sir. But that I yield the floor.
Islam, thank you for your call, brother. All right.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So what, y'all? Just want to add something on, based off of again, I can't overstress this. I can't make this up, man. Cujo sent me the information about the brother sent about the carpetbaggers, and it says the quote unquote from the history of the United States, because he was mentioning the bonds. And people always talk about the bonds. It says, look, the political trash. That's what they're talking about, political trash. And remember, nationality determines your political status. But it says the political trash, quote unquote, white and black, grew rich selling franchises, public property, and political favors for any price they could to get money quickly for themselves. One carpetbag governor cleaned up $500,000 in his term. Such regimes could only result, in many cases, in later repudiation of debt so corruptly incurred, and unfortunately, many of these bond issues were sold in England. Something else I found in research about the carpetbaggers, because, you know what I'm saying? These were the lineal descendants of the colonists who basically was like, nah, we're going to flip this and revolt. This is our quote-unquote country, basically. You know what I'm saying? So they were selling boxes and all that under the carpetbag regime. They had positions, carpetbag governor. Like, yo, this is ridiculous, yo.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Political trash. Those talking about.
Right. I'm not sure. I think I've gotten all the callers that let me check this one. 214-565. Did we already answer? I think we already answered you. Is that right? Yeah. All right. So I already got him. Oh, there's another one. One more caller. And nobody has answered the question about why it's constitutional for the president of the U.S.A. to pull finances that have been already allocated from different associations. No one has answered that question yet. But let me get this last caller, so I'm going to close out with nobody answered it. Let me get this last caller here. Hold on. 682-702. You're live on the air.
Hey, Islam. Peace and love, fam. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right?
Yes.
On the phone.
All is well.
Already. Yeah, I've just been trying to get back to the divine part of this movement. I've been reading through the Quran, and I had went to chapter 30, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, the social duties, and I had met another Moor. Well, we all Moors, but I had met a brother wearing the fez. You know, he was at the store, and I met him, and we got to chopping it up, and he was telling me about a spirit of Duke, and I was, we was going back and forth about that, and he was saying a spirit of Duke was, I guess, quote unquote, beefing with Taj. I'm like, okay. But he was asking me why Taj ain't answered back to him or whatnot, because it must be true. And I was just reading through this Quran today, and I came to verse 5, and it said, he opened not his ears unto slander. The fault and the failing of men give a pain to his heart. I said, that might be the reason why, he ain't answered back to us.
You might have to move out a little bit. You got a little bit of background noise. I think it's the children. All right.
Hey, y'all be quiet. Be quiet. Go in there for a minute. In a minute. Give me a second. Yeah, he was telling me about the spirit of Duke, and I was just saying, I guess Taj had, when he gave him $20 or whatnot, he was saying that it must be true, the slander that he's saying, because Taj didn't answer back. And I was reading through chapter 30, the Holy Instructions from the Prophet.
$20?
Huh?
What? You mentioned $20. What are you saying about $20?
Oh, when Taj had went to his, he had went to a lecture of his, and him and Sabir, I guess, had gave him 20 Federal Reserve notes to support him, because I guess they were supposed to be beefing, but Taj wasn't really paying to no mind. And I said,
so who gave who 20 notes? Who gave who 20 notes?
Seer the Duke. I don't know if you ever heard of him. It's a brother that be on you. Seer the Duke.
I know who he is. When we were doing years ago, when we were doing the Moorish Heritage and History classes at New York, we actually had him come to do a class for us on our platform years ago. So I definitely know who he is. Yes, but who gave who 20 notes? You saying a seer gave 20 notes to Taj?
I guess no. Taj had went to sit at one of his lectures.
At one of whose lectures? A seer's lecture?
Seers, yeah. Seers.
All right. And
I guess they were supposed to be beefing or something like that. I didn't know, but yeah, when he had told me about it, I'm like, Todd's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna answer to that, cause.
But what I want to say to you is this, and I know that this is not your thing, and we can definitely do it chapter 30. But the 20 notes, Dodge came and gave 20 notes to sit at one of a seer's lectures. So what's the problem with that? If that's how much his lecture was, like what is that?
No, I didn't say it was a problem with it. I was just saying that's, they couldn't have been beefing if he came and sat at one of his lectures. But I guess the guy was, I don't know what it was between there. It's a lot of.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's a bunch of bull.
Yeah, because
it's a bunch of bull. That's what it is. and the reason why I was questioning you is because I'm like, and I think I understand your logic. You're saying, well, Todd wouldn't come and give 20 notes to sit at one of a series lectures if they were really beefing. But I'm telling you that it's a bunch of bull, and I'm telling you that look, a seer, we invited him to come on the platform as we have with many Moors, at New York. So people. So I can't even imagine. First of all, I don't see a seer as having that type of a personality. Let me just say this. I don't see a seer as having the seer that I think I know, doesn't even have that type of a personality, to be involved in this kind of stuff. He has whatever he has, and I'm not saying anything bad. I just think that all of that right there is a lot of bull that people want to keep, like you said, stupid stuff going. So you refer to chapter 30. And I'll tell you this, and I know of Moors, and it's wise, and you're talking about with Taj, and it's always been known. He never goes to debate. See, this debate thing, people think it's a boxing ring or something, and let's go have a fight and see who wins. See, there's nothing to debate when it comes to facts, when it comes to truth, when it comes to the history that proves itself. If one would just take a moment and go study and look it up for themselves, they find it to be true. And at that point, they need to debate with themselves about how they're going to include or assimilate the truth into their life. And that's their private thing that they need to do with themselves. So somebody likes to debate. And unfortunately, because this information is not up for debate, nobody is going to return the favor and say, oh, well, let's go have a debate. It's not going to happen like that. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to.
Yeah. It just brought me, when I was reading that, I just thought about that. Yeah. Maybe, he don't open up his ear to the slander. Because false feelings of men give a pain to his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
The reality, I don't know I don't know what's really good, but is it even true that you were beefing? Because it's the first time I ever even heard of that. Like,
I didn't
that
know.
Is there any evidence? Like, is it a video or radio show where he's dissing him? Like, is that true?
Nah. Is that even true? Right.
But it's so much slander. There's so much slander.
Because
I feel like
Because the lawless ones must be, listen, because they have to be revealed so that you can say just what you're bringing to the table right now. As a matter of fact, you've inspired us to when we close out this broadcast, I'm going to read chapter 30. You just brought that to the table and inspired it. It is a lot of slander. So now it's like Kuda said earlier. So 80% of your time, we have to think, 80% of the time, are we going to be with the niggardly stuff and the ignorant stuff, or are we going to ignore that? You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're recognizing. It's just so much slander. But in the end, last man will be standing. You know what I'm saying? And all of that will have to come to the top so that you can do just what you're doing, recognizing that it's a lot of slander and that it goes against what is chapter 30, which is what we supposedly is about Prophet Noble Joe Ali's devotees or whatever to his work. That's right. I see the point you're making,
Yeah. Yeah, but I was wondering, do y'all go through the Quran? Y'all have a lesson that I can go back and listen to when y'all go back through the Quran? Because he uses some big words in here, and it's, I'm trying to fully understand it. And I know iron sharp as iron, so I was just trying to see.
Well, you might want to have a dictionary, etymology, and I don't know, Cujo, read it yourself, of course, and read it over again. And sometimes when you read something, you got to go back and read it again, because as you develop and you raise your consciousness, you'll go back and read something, and you will be able to see it more clearly. But Cujo, I don't know whether the question is he's asking. I know you have the MSTV and you have your. We're always talking from the Quran and the perspective, but I would just suggest you definitely read it and you get yourself a good unabridged dictionary to help you understand those words. And if there is a, we don't have a Quran class, well, not specifically. Do you, Cujo? Do you have any suggestion on that?
Yeah, here's one that you can could use as a reference point. YouTube, Great Seal West Quran class.
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, Great Seal West Quran class. That's with Grand Sheikh RVBey in Khalifa.
Right.
So
Great Seal West.
Information's out there. Quran class.
Okay.
Yeah, and they go through all the chapters. You know what I mean? It's a series of classes that they did for the same reason why you're asking the question, which is why there's the classes right there.
Okay. I appreciate it.
So, yeah. So I think that's a good session. That's a good session to at least you'll have some other dialogue, you know what I mean, while you're reading it.
Yeah, because like you told me last week, I don't want to just get caught up in the courts, you know what I'm saying, and all that. That's a distraction to what this movement is really about. And I'm trying to get to my divine higher self,
That's
and
right.
That'll exceed all of this BS that they got us going through, but they put us through it. And we're dealing with that at the same time. We're trying to, deal with ourselves. And it's a balance. It's a battle between balance. So, trying to keep that in mind. But I appreciate everything y'all do. Y'all really opened my eyes, and my highest honors to y'all. Really, really and truly.
And same to you. What did you say your affiliation was again?
I'm sorry.
Who are we speaking to? Who are we speaking to again?
My free national name, Easy Amir Yasir Bey.
Easy Amir Yasir Bey. And what territory did you say you were coming from?
Texas territory.
Oh, near Texas. It's near the Texas Corporation. All right, well, let me say this. So you stay with the divine, and in some way, divine is the higher self, and anything that's carnal can really pull you into, the lower self. So, yes, walk into this in the divine first. That's why the prophet said this is divine and national, all right? And it equates with the higher low self, as above, so below, like that. So thank you for your call. But we're going to dedicate, when we close out here, because, how many more callers? No, that's you. No, it's not you. There one more caller. I think there may be. No, we don't have any more callers. So we're going to, when we close out, we're going to dedicate reading chapter 30, inspired by you this evening, and it's appropriate for the conversation of the evening. So thank you very much.
I appreciate y'all.
Right?
Islam. Peace and love.
All right. Let's see. Is there anything the two of you want to add before we close out? Because I'm going to read the chapter 30. It's a short one, so perfect. Anything you want to add, Cujo? Anything you want to add, Liz?
No, I got nothing. I'm straight.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we want to... Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say, be careful. You know what I'm saying? Who you like close to you? What is their motive? You know what I mean? And just protect yourselves and your families, man. There's nothing more important than that. For sure.
For sure. All right. And also, we will be back here 7:30 tomorrow to finish reading White Cargo. We have only 2 chapters left to that book. So I trust we call that the Circle of Readers. And I trust that, you will tune in because that's the last 2 chapters. And, Brother Tim, I know he's still listening. I know he's going to be on there with me, with us, with that discussion. They've been following at him, and Brother Bakari, for certain, has been sort of co-hosting on that. And we'll need you tomorrow. Unfortunately, Sister Anna E won't be there to read those last 2 chapters, but I will read them. And then, as she has said, we're going to at least go over. But I want to say this. The question that was on the syllabus was, why does number 45, why does he not have the authority to terminate, well, I wrote it to terminate finances from sanctuaries for so-called aliens, but it should be a little bit more specific, have the authority to terminate already allocated, congressional allocated finances for the sanctuaries for the so-called aliens. No, it's interesting that all of these modern Europeans and the jurisdiction that was established for them, they're aliens, they're daggone stuff. Now, think about it. They all came over. They originally swapped. They all came over on boats, forced as slaves, got free while they were here, and now I'm going to tell other people and call other people aliens. Moors, you need to wake up, man. You need to wake up. This ought not be going on your ancestral estate and your national domicile, all right? That's how far off it's been, and now they're going to tell other people, who a lot of those people that are coming are Moors. It's your family coming over, home, to the what is it? This is the center of civilization. That's your family coming, and they're calling them aliens when they are the aliens / foreigners. When you think about it, even if you were to receive that truth, one thing you have to recognize is that this hate continues to go on. It's all fall down. London Bridge is definitely falling down. So the reason is because the United States of America and the President of the United States of America, pursuant to national constitution that many have not read or received, 7 articles, 10 Bill of Rights, that's the organic constitution, is because the only power they have is called executive power. They don't even have legislative. The President of the United States of America cannot make law at all, all right? At all. They can only execute that which already is, all right? So, with that being said, when they write an executive order, it's exactly what he says, an executive order, but it's not the law. So who will heed to that is a suggestion to the members/citizens of their corporation. It has nothing to do with you. But because, as we have stated on this line, there are so many corporations that pop up here and they say that, oh, well, this is the law, and this is the state law, and this is the whatever. And you don't know the difference to say, let me see, show me that law, to find that it doesn't exist because it's not law. It's a suggestion, a statute that was never promulgated. What do I mean by promulgated? Read Article 1, Section 7 of the law of the land, because even if the House and the Representatives, even if they overthrew the president on a bill that they put in and they want to become law, even if the president doesn't want it, if they want it, they redo their little vote thing, and now they have to expose to the president who was for it and who was against it, which equates to who's for him and who's against him on that matter. And they give him 10 days to sign it in grace, or if you don't sign it, it doesn't matter. It's going to happen anyway. But there is only one exception. And this is important to Moor. It's important to all people, really. Even if that were to occur, where they overrode the president at that time, nothing can be finalized and turned into a law. It's called promulgated. The Congress is in what's called sine die, and it's been in sine die since, 1861? It has been. That's the continent. It has Continental Congress. It's gone. It's not. They haven't come back to the table to meet with these Slavics about Jack. They walked away and like, okay, you got the law of the land. Hang with that. Nothing else is going down, right? So when they tell you all of this other stuff, it's really not. That's not the Congress. That's not the real deal. Congress is in sine die, so even then, no laws can be made. But see, if you read the Constitution, if you heard people say, "Oh no, Congress has been in sine die," you even see in the congressional records where we brought that out, and I believe it's on the site or it's in the making of the 14th Amendment. I'm not sure which. I think it's in there, but I know it's on the site. We'll say, and you'll hear Moor say sine die, but you never took the time to go figure out what that meant to you for your understanding. It's right in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 7 specifically, regarding how bills become law. All right? And I want to clear up another thing, because people heard the word statutes and they don't get that the Constitution is referred to as the statutes at large when you read it in the congressional records, because those were statutes at large, law at large that became law. So this is why they throw you, or it became the Constitution actually, this is why they'll say to you, well, statute number so-and-so, you violated, but you don't know that that is something that's not backed by law. They're just using that wording. And telling you that this is a law that isn't. And if you knew how laws were made, you would know that it wasn't really promulgated. So the executive order is just that. It's not law. The executive order is written, like I say, as a suggestion. It is not law. So all he can do is write an executive order, call it a wish list. But when that statement was made that he wants all of those agencies and states and agencies of such states that are administering the program for those who come here as so-called aliens and they have sanctuaries for them, etc., like that, to assist them. This man is sitting there saying, no, don't give him nothing, pull it back. He doesn't have power to do that. So immediately after that, they said, oh, sorry, you can't. It's the same as with the travel ban. See, with the travel ban, that applies only to them. If that's who it's going to apply to, it doesn't apply to you. But you needed to know that. So that's the answer to that question in brief. What we're going to do is close out by reading chapter 30 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, divinely prepared by Prophet Nationality, and it is entitled Holy Instructions from the Prophet, the Social Duty. So everybody listen up. In the midst of all this slander and everything, if you really want to get a rock to hold on to, or an anchor to hold on to, or a place to be to get out, to figure all this out, this should help you. Because your social duties are as follows. When thou considerest thy want, when thou beholdest thy imperfections, acknowledge his goodness, O Son of humanity, who honored thee with humanity, endowed thee with speech, and placed thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal help and mutual obligation, protection from injury, thou enjoyment of the comfort and the pleasures of life. All these thou owe to the assistance of others, and could not enjoy but in the bands of society. It is thy duty, therefore, to be a friend to mankind, as it is thy interest that man should be friendly to thee. As the rose bravest sweetness from its own nature, so the heart of a benevolent man produceth good work. He enjoyeth the ease and tranquility of his own breast, and rejoice in the happiness and prosperity of his neighbor. He opens not his ear unto slander. The faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. His desire is to do good, and he researcheth out the occasion thereof. In removing the oppression of another, he relieves himself. This is the last part. From the largeness of his mind, he comprehendeth in his wishes the happiness of all men, and from the generosity of his heart, he endeavors to promote it. Islam, peace, and love. We will see you back here tomorrow, 7:30, for the last 2 chapters of White Cargo. Now we got to do the close out music. Just give me a second. There it is. All right, so keep your social duties out, and we will see you tomorrow.
Right, peace and love, y'all. All right.
Islam, Moor.
All right.
Islam. All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the music on. I don't know why it won't go in. There it is.